Have you ever really stopped to think about the world you live in, but can't actually see? A world that exists right alongside our own, and, it pretty much influences everything we do. It's where we work, it's where we shop, it's where we connect with our friends and family. So I want you to think of your digital life like a castle. It holds all your secrets, your treasures, your entire identity. And just like any castle, well, it's under constant siege. You see, this is a world of invisible invaders trying to find a way in, and silent guardians working around the clock to keep them out. It's a battle that's happening every single second of every single day, whether we notice it or not. So in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on this hidden world. We're going to explore the threats, we'll try to understand the defenses, and most importantly, we'll learn how to protect our own digital castles. Okay. Let's dive right in. To really get how to defend our castle, we first need to understand the three core elements of this whole conflict: the invaders, the weaknesses they're looking for, and the protections we build to stop them. So first up, you have the threat. This is basically the who or the what that wants to cause harm. It could be a hacker, a nasty piece of software, really any potential danger that's trying to get past your walls. They are the invaders circling your castle, looking for a way in. Now, a threat is pretty much powerless without a vulnerability. The vulnerability is the how they get in. It's a weakness, a flaw, a simple mistake. In our castle, it might be a forgotten, unlocked gate. But in your digital life, it's usually something like outdated software or a weak, super easy to guess password. And that, of course, brings us to our response, the defense. These are all the tools and the strategies we use to protect ourselves against threats that are trying to take advantage of those vulnerabilities. These are the guards on the walls, the strong gates, and all the clever traps we set to keep our digital lives secure. So what's actually inside our digital castle that's so important? I mean, what are we really trying to protect? In cybersecurity, we're not just protecting stuff. We're protecting three very specific qualities of our information. These goals are famously known as the CIA triad. And no, not that CIA. This stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Every single security measure out there is designed to protect at least one of these three core principles. Confidentiality is actually really simple. It's all about privacy. It means making sure that your private information isn't seen by anyone who shouldn't be seeing it. It's the promise that your secret messages, your bank details, your personal files, they remain exactly that, yours. Next up is integrity, and this is all about trust. It's what ensures that your data hasn't been messed with or changed without your permission. Think about it like this. Say you're making an online payment. If you send $100, integrity is what guarantees an attacker can't just intercept that and change the number to $1,000. It means the information stays accurate and trustworthy from start to finish. And finally, we have availability. This is the promise that you can actually get to your information and your services whenever you need them. So if a hacker takes a bank's website offline, they've compromised its availability, and that stops real, legitimate customers from getting to their own accounts. Okay, so now that we know what we're trying to protect, let's take a look at how the invaders actually operate. Generally, attacks fall into two big categories, and it all depends on what the attacker is trying to do. Right, so attacks come in two main flavors, passive and active. And as you can see, they have totally different goals. A passive attack, think of it like a spy, just eavesdropping. The objective is simply to observe and collect information without changing anything. This makes them incredibly hard to detect. An active attack, on the other hand, is much more direct. The goal here is to actually change or disrupt systems, which has a direct impact on data integrity or availability. Because they're so disruptive, they're often easier to spot, but yeah, the damage can be immediate and pretty severe. So let's take a common active attack, something called a masquerade. In this case, the attacker doesn't break down the door. They steal the key. They find a way to pretend to be a real, legitimate user, probably by stealing a password. And once they're inside, they have access to whatever that user can see, letting them steal information right from under your nose. So, this brings us to the crucial point. How do we fight back? Right, how do we build a fortress that can stand up to both the sneaky spies and the aggressive invaders? Well, we need a toolkit of modern defenses. Let's go right back to our castle analogy. A firewall, that's your gatekeeper, controlling all the traffic that comes in and out. Antivirus software, that acts like the guards, actively looking for and taking down known threats. A VPN creates a secret encrypted tunnel for your data to travel through safely. And an intrusion detection system, that's your watchtower,
scanning for any suspicious activity and sounding the alarm.
But one of the most powerful tools that's available to you personally is two-factor authentication, or 2FA. The idea is so simple. Just knowing your password isn't good enough anymore. To get in, a user also needs a second piece of proof, something that only the real user would actually have. This second factor is often a one-time password, or an OTP, and I'm sure you've used these before. A software OTP is just a code that gets sent to an app on your phone, while a hardware OTP is generated by a little physical key fob, or a USB token. They both do the same job. They give you a temporary key that expires after you use it once. So why is this so incredibly important? Well, because even if a hacker successfully phishes you and steals your password, they still can't log in. Without that second factor, that little code from your phone, the password is completely useless. It's such a simple step that just dramatically strengthens your defenses. It's a real game changer. All these amazing tools bring us to the final and, maybe the most important piece of the puzzle. Because at the end of the day, the most advanced digital castle in the world is useless if someone inside just leaves the main gate wide open. Strong security isn't just about technology. It's also about good habits. So here's your checklist, the stuff you can put into practice today. First, use strong, unique passwords for every single account. Seriously, use a password manager. Second, be suspicious of unexpected emails. Phishing isn't just random spam anymore, it's a sophisticated psychological trick designed to exploit your trust or your curiosity. That's why it is the #1 way attackers get in. Third, keep your software updated to patch those vulnerabilities we talked about earlier. And finally, run some reputable antivirus software. These simple actions are your daily duties as the lord of your own digital castle. And that brings us to our final thought. You see, cybersecurity isn't a problem that you solve once and you're done. It is a constant, evolving struggle. As our technology gets more complex and our lives become more and more digital, the battlefield just gets bigger. So the question we're left with isn't if we can ever be perfectly secure, but how we can stay resilient in a world where the threats will simply never stop coming.